Hafne, and welcome to the Fashion and Art edition of KUAM News Extra. I'm Isa Baza here with Chris Panda Estacio for our At the Bar segment. And in celebration of Chamorro Month, everyone is out celebrating this month. We have two Chamorro themed cocktails. So Panda, tell us about what we're making today.
All right, for this one, in the spirit of Chamorro Month, I know a lot of the families and a lot of the friends, they like to do a lot of desserts that have to do with Chamorro Month. So I want to kind of go back to my roots and make something that my grandmother liked making. So I made the Grandma's Letiza, and then I'm also making a coconut candy drink that not a lot of people have available to them. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be making for you today.
All right, Letiza and coconut candy, two of my favorite things. Did you come up with these recipes by yourself?
Yes, actually we did a Stoli competition a couple years ago, and I had to come up with something really local and everything like that. So I want to come up with something. I just finished eating Letiza from my grandmother, and that just popped into my head, and I wanted to make something like that.
Okay, and of course, Panda is an award-winning bartender.
Thank
so
you.
let's get started with drink number one.
Okay, the first drink that we're gonna make is Grandma's Letiza. Very, very simple, very easy to make. It's not something that you would have a hard time making, but just gonna keep it simple. Yeah. For this one, we're gonna be using Stoli vanilla vodka, and then we're also gonna be using rum chata, which is a cinnamon liqueur. And then we're gonna have all the other things like sweetened condensed milk, vanilla extract, the basic things you would actually have in a Letiza drink minus the eggs.
Okay, sounds good.
So we're gonna go to start with this. So we're using rum chata, cinnamon liqueur. So we're gonna do about half an ounce of that. Into your blender. For this drink, you would need a blender. Okay.
So just pour it on ice.
Pour it straight into the ice. The good thing about blending drinks is that the flavors can actually blend well together, and then you don't have any of that graininess that you would get from regular cocktails. And you need about an ounce of Stoli vanilla vodka. Okay. Then we need about 2 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. If you're on a diet though, if you don't want anything too sweet, then you could just use regular cream.
You can just switch out your dessert for this instead.
Okay, and you need about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, but you can use fresh vanilla bean if you like.
Just doing it by hand.
Yeah, just to get that flavor. A lot of people like theirs really sweet, so it really depends on what they like. So then,
just a few ingredients.
just simple, very, very, very simple ingredients. And then just once you start blending, once you get the consistency that you want, where it's not too heavy and not too light, and it's something that you can actually eat with a spoon at the very, very end. So it's a cocktail that you can drink, and then as soon as it gets done, you want to go ahead and this is what the final product looks like. So what you'll do is, just like all Letizas, some people use pound cake, some people use sponge cake, and then some people use yellow cake. So for this one, I like using pound cake. The good thing about it is that once that liquid soaks down into the bread, it's something that you can eat with a spoon, so it's exactly like a dessert.
Okay, and what do you sprinkle on top?
All right, at the very, very end, you can go ahead and do cinnamon, or you can do fresh grated cinnamon. Yeah.
And you can't buy this anywhere. It's your special recipe?
It's a special recipe, but I'm just teaching the island now how to make it, so you can actually make it at home for yourselves now.
All right, sounds good. Well, I can't wait to try that one. But first, let's make drink number two.
Okay, for drink number two, there's not a lot of places on the island right now that make coconut candy. Get Pog was one of them. Some people make it at home. So I want to try and make a drink that you can get at a bar, or you can just make it at home. So for this one, very, very simple also. So we're gonna stick with the Stoli brand. Also, we're using Stoli sticky caramel, or salted caramel, I'm sorry. So that way it's not anything that's really too overpowering. So about an ounce and a half. Okay, for this one, the equipment that you would need is a mixing tin, which is what I have over here.
Also already has ice inside.
Yeah, it already has ice in there. So the difference between this one, this specific drink, and the blended drink is this one is something you have to strain out, so that way you can get those diluted flavors from the alcohol. That's what a lot of people fail to see, is that the drink doesn't have to taste like alcohol for it to be strong. So you really want to follow the measurements when it comes to something like this, so that way the flavors don't overpower itself. Okay, then we're using finest called coconut syrup. So you about need half an ounce. Okay. Then we want to use freshly grated coconut, just inside. So that way the coconut flavors kind of blend well together.
Did you make this coconut with this Kamasi over here?
Yes, I actually called a very special uncle to borrow this. And I had to give him a wild pig and different things, and I have to bush cut his yard in
You
order for me to
bribed
do
him.
this. Okay, so once you have this, and then we're gonna use coconut water, or you can use fresh coconut, depends on how sweet it is. Some of the coconuts on the island don't exactly have that much liquid in it, so you can feel free to use this. Okay, so for this one, you wanna use about 3 ounces worth of coconut.
Okay.
Okay. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and shake this up really good. That way we can dilute the flavors and really get everything to blend well. Okay, once you see the bottom of the tin start frosting up, that means the alcohol is really blended well together. Okay. Then you wanna fine strain it over a glass. And what I did with this one, this is it's caramel rim. And then what I did with it is I rimmed it with fresh coconut. So that way it's something that it's that flavor and you get that texture that you would get from coconut candy. And then fine strain it over your ice. And the last thing you would do is just top it with a little bit of 7-Up. So that way you create that fizz.
This seems like the perfect drink for when you're out at the beach, you're just relaxing on a cabana, a hammock or something.
Yes.
Very refreshing.
Yeah, we do get a lot, especially with a lot of the military and the tourists that come in through the island, is that they want something that really reminds them of Guam. You know, you go majority around the world, you get mojitos in Puerto Rico, different kind of things. So for us here on Guam, we want to use what we have. So coconut, of course, is something you can see all over the island, and then to be able to have something like the Letiza drink is something that really brings you back to home, and it reminds you of when you were a kid at parties and stuff like that, and you're running around. But that's something that we always have at our house.
All right, well, let's try the final product. Thanks so much, Panda.
You're welcome. Thank you, Guam.
Want to try one of those with me?
Sure.
Okay.
Ready? Cheers.
Cheers. Wow, that's really good. It tastes like dessert. It tastes really a lot like Letiza.
Yeah, that's again, that's something that I really wanted to bring back, where reminds you of being a kid again.
All right, well, thanks so much. Stay tuned. We'll have more of the Fashion Art edition of KUAM News Extra after the break.